But do you know what you
But,
guys
but,
were
but
waiting for?
Blackadder is in the game right now. It's in the call. BA,
Yeah.
are you
But
here?
Yeah, all right. So I guess congratulations are in order. Pretty great games, all three of them. So
Thank
who
you.
are we actually speaking with so that I can put it into the text in here on the screen for everyone to see?
This here is Count, and we have T2, and we have Temis.
All right, so count the Tutemista in that order.
Yep, it's the skill level order, so.
fuck you.
So, well, I've read in the chat in the game room that you actually didn't know that you were playing against against KeeN today. Only Titi knew it or something like that.
uh,
So what's up with
T-
that?
Tito told me that we played against another clan and that Magic was playing. So that was pretty much the only thing I knew, and I thought he was in LED. So I didn't really know we were playing KeeN.
course.
And I was this evening I spoke to the leader of Absolute Nuts, and he said something, and I asked him, "Are you guys ready? Who's gonna play for you?" And he said, "No, no, 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 no. We are not playing. You're playing against KeeN." So I was like, "Oh wait, oh that's true. KeeN is Magic's playing for KeeN." So that was kind of the story.
Well, you were able to adjust quite nicely, it seemed, even though, like in the first two games, it almost looked like that you were actually going to lose quite quickly. And then now suddenly you were able to come back. So did you have some kind of extra plan for the games, or were you just going to play whatever came
Uh,
your way?
well, the plan was we let Tito play, and the rest just don't lose that hard, and that was kind of the strategy. And it turns out the Mista doesn't need games to be good. So even if rusty, he can easily win. And
Yeah.
I tried my best, but it doesn't really matter what I did. It's just holding the shoulders of my mates,
Yeah, we were
climbing on
playing
their
quite
backs,
nicely, especially at the
and
zero TCs in the second game. That was quite enjoyable for you, I guess.
yeah, I guess so. Not sure if it was good played by me or bad played by the others. It's just yeah, it just turned out to be good, I guess.
Well, in the first game, it really looked like that actually Temista's raid-in on Magic at the very back was quite important for the game overall, because Magic went for quite a decent economy himself. So, Temista, were you actually expecting something like that from Magic, or was it just a lucky guess?
Uh, he usually plays really booming in team games, so that's why I actually made the barrack behind his base. I wanted to see if he was going for early TCs on the back or forward, but he did get his forward first. So I just made the barrack just in case he tries to take a GC and I can reinforce with wolves or Hersirs. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
we were expecting him to take a lot of TCs early on, and that was the plan. Like we were talking with Tito, and I told them they feel comfortable in late game. We just need to take late game from them. And if we apply pressure, especially early in Magic, we will force them to play around Magic's playstyle, Magic's game, and that will give us a huge advantage because they will forfeit map control, and that's what happened in game 1 and 3.
It was quite interesting what you were saying, because at least the games 1 and 2, actually the 3 as well, it looked like actually KeeN's strategy was to win the game very early, as they were moving into quite early offensive and such with front TCs from Magic in the first game and then overall pretty heavy raiding. And it really seemed like that you were taking the games a bit more slowly. And well,
That's That's not entirely true. I mean, if you see the first game, you will see that they never committed into any attacks. When you're trying to win early, you need to commit, right? But they didn't commit. They wanted the map control in order to put us into the defensive. And I knew that. That's why my army was never in my base. I knew that they would never go for my TC early on. That's why my army was always behind Magic's base, because they were not committed into anything. Like you cannot commit into finishing the game fast while taking TCs at the same time. If they wanted to finish the game fast, Magic would have went heroic with 2 TCs. And obviously try to stop me from gathering from the bottom left side. But they didn't do that because they didn't want to commit into losing their army. Because they were
and
booming behind it. And
and
it was
also
obvious.
and also they didn't really raid. I didn't do much the entire game. I was just making 4 town centers and going Ragnarok, and they tried to raid Temista, and they didn't kill much villagers. They maybe cost a little bit of idle time, but I think our rates were way better, and that shouldn't happen actually when I'm just not making army and making like 4 raiders and furthermore making town centers. They should have the advantage.
It actually looked like that Green Sea Squash was doing a pretty good job against you, KeeN. So from like a majority of the early game, it looked like you were actually on the back feet, and he was basically keeping you in check, not really doing.
Yeah,
Not
that
really,
The thing is that Thor doesn't care about map control when he goes for the series. He's like, okay, take all the map you want. At this timing, in like 10 minutes, I'm gonna come at you with 300 Pope Ragnarok, and there's nothing you can do.
I had 300 population at 50 minutes. So in case that's gonna happen, you're doing something wrong as Loki. As Loki, you should always have the advantage, and you should you should push me around. And I didn't get pushed around. I had just one little fight for a town center, and when I won that, it was just nothing. Just making town centers and villagers. That's all I had to do, and that should never happen when your opponent is Loki. So it seemed he didn't do bad, the green player, but in my opinion, his strategy was just not viable.
All right. Well, in the second game that was played, I have to remember right now, on Anatolia, it really looked like that even though the early pushes, or rather early take of the TC by count on the right side was going to be the correct choice, but it seemed like really that KeeN's actually anticipated something like that, and the early push into the middle by Magic seemed pretty strong. So what actually was the game plan on this map for you? Because you could have seen actually the gods on the other side that were kind of on the boomy side, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't really be sure what to do on your
yeah.
side.
Well, in the Anatolia game, you actually don't want to have an Uranus player. Uranus is just not so very good at the map. We were like, Tito is playing godlike anyhow, so we just let him play. Because we felt like we had to force something, I played really greedy. I went for 2 town centers, both forward, trying to take the entire map control and not fighting water. If it works, we would have been pretty far ahead. But if they anticipated, like they did, then we fall off, and then they just can overrun me because Tito tried to fight water, and I went for land without any army, just economy. So that's kind of what happened. They pushed me way far back. Golden Lion also raided my gold villagers, so I had pretty much nothing left, and I have no fucking clue why they couldn't finish. We did some good raiding, I guess, but furthermore, Magic had like 4 town centers and a great economy. He had trades. Same for Metallo. He had 3 town centers. He was Hades, and he couldn't even kill me. Well, I had no town centers. Yeah, then you're doing something wrong. That was entirely their fault, in my opinion.
Well, the game was pretty much decided on the fight besides the Titan Gate of T2, because that was the most important spot. That was also at the time where actually all your Ragnarok was done. You actually had pretty much nothing at this point, and it was really curious to see how it wasn't able to be finished. I will have actually to rewatch the recorded game, because I'm not exactly sure where it went wrong, because Temista was, if I remember correctly, fully engaged into Gold Line on the left for some minutes after that, as with his mercenaries it wasn't really much of a problem for him to defend. Whereas on the right there, I think definitely was a chance for KeeN, so yeah, maybe they would know a bit better. Maybe we will get them to talk with us as well, and they can actually tell us a bit more what went wrong from them.
Yeah.
And in the third game, well, did you actually expect what they're going to do? Because their god choices were kind of interesting, to be honest. And the late advances, well,
I actually did. I knew that Sensui was gonna go for a fast mythic for wolves, and I mean this is the new meta, right? Wolves. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let you make your wolves, and I'll just hammer you with Ragnarok.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about, and I was seeing it, because since we of course invested a lot into the faster mythic, which means that he's going to be having weak economy and overall not any kind of ability to defend against the Ragnarok. So it was a pretty big risk from him, and well, he probably hoped that his teammates will be actually doing a lot better job on the left side, probably.
I'm dissatisfied by the fact that I almost killed at least 10 villagers from Metallo's wood. I don't know if you saw that. I blocked his villagers with a barrack, but I managed to kill like only 2 and then finish another 2 with my Valkyrie. It was really close to kill a lot of villagers there.
It seems like that the deciding moment actually in the third game was the restorations used by KeeNs, which to be honest didn't really seem all that optimal. And do you actually think you would have some kind of good chance if they used them correctly in actually an attack on the TC of T2, which was the moment that they were actually probably hoping to win the game at?
The thing, yeah, no, and I think that because they don't have experience in games like this. If you check all of their games, like in general, when they play, they always go for the boom and go late game. They want to play late game because they feel comfortable there. So in the third game, they try to be aggressive, right? But when you're gonna be aggressive with this type of armies, you need to be committing. They didn't commit again. Once again, they didn't commit, and you cannot just go back and forth against an Uranus army. You will get raped. And that's what happened. Their armies, they just kept losing units, and every time they used restoration, it was a restoration in a place that we didn't need to stay. So they cast restoration, we just go back. Like if they committed and they used double restoration under TC to take down a TC, so like they cast restoration, we are forced to fight under the TC because we have towers in the TC. So their restoration gets value. They might even kill the TC, and then we might have a problem. But when they are casting restoration outside of our base, then we are happy with that because we just go back to our towers in TCs and we feel comfortable. And they just go back because they don't want to commit.
What I actually noticed in the post games, in the games, was that Magic was constantly having the least upgrades in all three games. So is that some kind of plan from him to actually go for a boom without upgrades, or do you think it was just because he wasn't comfortable in the games?
If you're Zeus and you go for, let's say, for a second TC or a third TC, if you go for 3 TCs, you don't want upgrades early. You don't want to take economical upgrades early. And obviously you don't take armory upgrades because you want to get Olympus, Forge of Olympus. But in general, you don't want economical upgrades early because your villagers will be building the TCs, and since few villagers will be gathering the resources, you don't get that small amount of economy that you spend to get the upgrades, you don't take it back fast enough. So it makes more harm than good. So I guess I agree not taking economical upgrades when you're gonna invest all of your villagers into taking the TCs fast. But later on, as soon as you have like 15, 14 on each side, like 14 on wood, 14 on food, then you should take the upgrades, obviously.
Well, right now, for example, what game actually did you like the most out of the three? Let's start with Temista and go through the players. So, Temista.
Obviously, the one that I hammered, Sensui. I put him into an early grave. Like I just told him a bedtime story and sent him to sleep. That was the best game for me. That's a simple answer.
All right. So for Count, what was the best game for you?
I actually think it was the second game because I was playing just with one town, without any town centers, and when you're playing without any town centers and still holding, it's like what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, and I'm living on the other guys, resources wise, so that was a whole new experience for me. So I kind of liked it. Eventually, not at the moment when I was playing the game, I was like, please, can it stop, can it stop, I'm so fucking down. But when I was finished, I was like, wow, actually it was a pretty good experience.
All right, and Titu?
Can I add something? 1 sec.
Oh yeah, Temista, go ahead.
In game two, at 7 minutes, I had 2,000 food for some reason, and I'm like, guys, take my food. I have so much food, I don't want it. And I kept sending food and food and food.
Yeah, and
them to give them food. I was literally begging them to give them food.
yeah, that was true. And also, I would like to add, in the second game, I could make use of Baldur ramps. Those upgrades of Baldur is just really great. And every game, I can make ramps and take the upgrades. I'm having a great time. It doesn't matter how many town centers I have. If I can make ramps, I'm happy.
All right, so Titu, if you are still with us, what was your favorite game?
I actually like the first one a lot because I think we totally anticipated what they wanted to do, and the game like developed in the way we like predicted to be. So it was a pretty clean victory and really like we won on like strategy. We basically knew what they were gonna do, and we countered it very well. So it was a good game.
Actually, the first game reminded me of from last season. I think it was last season, the Valley of the Kings, where we
Yeah,
were
for
playing.
GOG. Yeah.
Exactly like Count won it basically, or won it, had a pretty big hand in winning it through the Ragnarok, through the very fast Ragnarok, and it really was pretty similar to that.
That one game that you're saying went late game because we were playing against 3 Egyptians, I think. So that game went really, really late. But yeah, it was something similar than that. It was a later rag, but a stronger rag.
Yeah, I think our strategy was kind of similar. So, like that, you're right.
Like in this one, we weren't playing against Egyptians, 3 Egyptians, so we didn't need a late strong rag with infrastructure behind it. We just needed a fast rag to do so much damage that we could just finish them with the aftermath.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we have talked about quite a lot of stuff in the game that has happened. So I'm not exactly sure if there's something more to cover in here. So do you have something that you want to mention to viewers
Well,
or anything?
how did you enjoy the tournament? What do you think of the finals, Blackadder? Do you think the games were good? Do you actually disappointed that there are only 3 games? Do you think another Ken should have been in the finals?
I was
Can
actually
you-
surprised that it ended in 3 games because in the last seasons, 2 or 3 seasons, it was always 5 games, no matter how actually it went. I think that the last 2 seasons were turned around from 2-0 into 3-2 or something like that. Some such nonsense. So it was
I
maybe
can tell you
expected.
why.
Oh,
Because
okay.
no other clan had the balls to play us without the Egyptians. We are the only clan that barely plays Egyptians. So we didn't meet Egyptians and we just saw them who's the best. Like, it's simple as that.
Well, that you definitely did. And to get back to the games, well, I definitely like them because it's always great to see some comebacks and such. And there was a whole lot of action all around the map, so there was actually nothing not to like. And didn't really see any kind of big mistakes, just some inexplicable ways how you were able to actually overcome the situation that you were in. Because from the observer point of view, it really looked all kinds of weird, especially in the second game when there was a fight on Titus TC and whatever. It really looked like a GG right there. But yeah, I really think these were pretty great games, representative of the best team game players in the game currently. So yeah, I was quite content as the host of the tournament.
The best team game players in the game? Do you think so?
Of course. Well, you have won for
Okay.
a second time, and you have been in finals, I don't know, extra 2 times above that, I think, in the past like 5 seasons or something like that. So currently you are pretty much the best in the team games,
Okay.
and otherwise, who is going to play you then? The other best players, of course.
Okay. And who do you think is gonna give us a lot of competition next season? Because this season we did not lose a single game in the playoffs, but next season is maybe gonna be different. What is gonna be the toughest opponent versus us? Do you think?
I think it should be Absolats, especially because of Shelty joining them right now, and his main motivation is basically to win RTS League, so I'm expecting that he's gonna actually take it up a notch, as it's
Yeah.
almost looking like Absolats are actually a bit choking in the late game, in the later stages of the tournament, as
Yeah.
they seem to be having problems with advancing actually into the finals and such, which is a bit of a shame because I think they do have the quality and they even have the pretty good team play in the group stages, but then sometimes it doesn't work out for them. So I'm hoping that actually Schulte will be able to pick them up a bit.
Blackadder, you have to realize though that this is like the weakest of JSS that you can see because we did zero practice. Like the only games I played were the RTSL games and 2 games with Titu some days ago. And I think the same counts. Count didn't play for a long time, and he just played
He
today,
really
like
does.
one more game.
Yeah.
Well, they teased of that attempt that as well, but it's not really working for them all that much, it seems.
Well, DT of Death, they played a shitload of games. Killer Boy was playing all the time. At least that's what I heard. Tito saying. Not
I
sure
mean,
if I'm
not all the time, but definitely more than you.
okay. And it's just Killer Boy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get the they were flaming Shelty after the games we played versus them. Well, he was by far the best player. So if it goes like that, we can be sure that they won't be any competition in the future for us.
Oh, well, that's very good to hear, because this basically means that you are going to be joining for the next seasons as well, which is definitely great to hear, to
Yeah, we
have
will.
you in the league.
We
And
will.
it's going to be up to the rest of the community to think something up against you, because so far you are seeming like you actually know what you do in the team games.
Well, Tito is. We were teaming
Yeah,
with Tito, and that's it.
T2 handles the logistics of the clan, so he's always on notch. I'm
Yeah.
the marketing, I am the image, and then we have management, Mr. Jekreicht. He's the
Right,
management of the
right.
clan.
Yeah.
So we have the three best aspects of a business. That's why we work so good. Management, marketing, and logistics. That's why we rock and roll. We rock and roll everything.
Yes.
Okay then, so I guess that's pretty much going to be it. I tried asking Magic if he'd like to join us, but he's probably having something else to do right about now, as he's also went off Woobly. So I guess I'm
Well,
gonna
what
ask
about
maybe
Matello? Maybe he wants to
Metallo.
join?
Yeah, exactly. Just looking at him just about now. If I'm gonna ask him.
Because I'm pretty curious about what happened in the second game.
Yeah, I'd like to
And
actually talk to them as well, so they have a chance to talk about what we talked
In
about.
game 2, after a certain point in the game, I was so mad about fucking Egyptians and their fucking mares. I couldn't believe I just couldn't finish the game right there. Just iron upgrades against no upgrade mercenaries. I just couldn't finish the game because auto queue mercenaries.
Yeah, I was actually looking at that, how we were actually playing in there in vain, and it almost looked like that it might cost you the game, because if you continued fighting that lost fight, there would be any kind of chance to actually make it happen and turn the game around. But when you switched into the middle, that was exactly what needed to be done, and that I think won the game in the end. So yeah, that was pretty tough to see, all those towers and the mercenaries and whatnot. Oh, waiting for Metallo, if he's gonna reply to us and join us. Maybe ask him as well, Count, if you can. Or Temi
And
stuff
I
or
think
whatnot.
I think Adafing like is the one who won the most championships without like being in the team actually as a guest player.
yeah.
Like unfortunately he couldn't play today, but it was
Yeah.
really helpful. Like because some of our guys they have busy schedule and stuff, so we're
Yeah.
short in plays.
Big thanks to Edafang for filling in. Also to Falco. He said he didn't want to play this season, but after all, he showed up when we needed him the most. So also thank you, Falco.
Yeah, Falco played quite nicely, especially since I think he's not really all that much active. But when we have seen him in the games, especially I liked him in the Highland against KeeN that you played, where you were the one TC less. I think he played pretty well in there. So yeah, that was nice to see that you have actually the breadth of the lineup for you. Okay, so Metallo should be joining us. You should be somehow inviting him, Count, or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll be having a bit of a talk from KeeN's as well.
Can invite him at search. Yeah, there he is.
Okay, so we're gonna have a bit of a look at the games from the other side also.
One sec, I just invited him. There he is.
Ah, here he is. Ah, hey Metal,
Well,
do you hear us?
I'm calling him right now.
Ah, yeah.
Yep, there he is.
Ah, hey, Metalo.
Hello. Hello there.
Hi.
Hey.
Congratulations
What's up,
on
guys?
pretty good games, to be honest, overall. So there's absolutely no anything in being silver this time because there was really a big hill for you to climb. And well, how do you feel about the performance of your team today? I think you played pretty well overall.
Yeah, well, of course, there is absolutely no shame being in second place. I like it a lot to play the games and to watch the first game. And I think our team went pretty good, but I think JSS strategies were much better than ours, and I didn't really agreed with all the gods and all the pickups and the strategies of our team, but it's a team and I could not decide for them, but it was okay. JSS just played a lot better than us.
And well, where do you think actually that it went wrong from your point of view? For example, in the second game, that actually looked like that it was right in your pocket at one moment when you were attacking the Titan Gate of T2 and basically being camped inside his base with magic. So where do you actually think that it went apart for you?
Yeah, well, I didn't really follow everything that Mister made in Gold Lion's main base, but I just tried to help him with my underworld passage, and he said that he was not really needed that because magic was already there helping him. But I think if I had underworld, I could be make much more difference because I could go just in Mr. Base and I could have won the game. Um, Spam some towers with Gastafratus and taking down his TCs because T2 was only with two town centers. But I think we lost because Mr. played incredibly better than us in alone in that game. But I don't know exactly what happened with Magic and Gold Lion. At some time, I just saw that Magic did not have any resources and he just lost his town center because Mr. destroyed everything. But I think because T2 made a huge difference with the Titan. I think his Titan won the game to me because he started to defeat all my TCs. I had like at some point 4 TCs and I was gonna grab the first is the my I was gonna get 5 TCs at some point and I think I could win the game and but Gold Lion just came back from Mista because Mista started to focus in my front base but I think the Titan made a difference. Of course, among with Mista destroying everything in the middle.
Yeah, actually, it really did seem like that the fight next to the Titan Gate of T2 was the most important one for the game in there, because once he definitely had it, that was exactly what he needed to get rid of the problematic TCs and whatnot. So yeah, I guess you can agree with that. And in the first game, it kind of looked like that actually KeeNs were also going to win. You weren't playing in there, but what did you actually see that might have won the game for JSS or lost the game for KeeNs in there?
Well, from my point of view, I was not playing. I can't really be exact in my analysis, but I analyzed very quickly what happened in that game, and I saw that I think Magic went too greedy, trying to grab 4 TCs or 5 TCs. I don't remember exactly, but I think he went too greedy, trying to grab all those TCs. And these wolves, they are so fucking strong. Mister abused it, and he went and he had the upper hand since he was mythic and he was with those wolves. And and I think if Green Sea Squash had just tried to focus in some really massive attack instead of getting TCs, he could have avoided the Ragnak from count. So I really think that they had better strategies than us, and they get the upper hand first than us. You know, I exactly like in the second game, Mister just went much more aggressive than Gold Lion in the first of the game, and then he had the advantage. So But I still think that the biggest difference when it was by Magic trying to take 40 Cs and Green Sea Squash mainly, because I still think that he could have finished count very early than that. And I guess it's it. This is it.
And regarding the third game on the Frozen Wastes, I guess it was planned for the beginning to Athena Rush double on T2, but it almost looked like that the restorations were kind of miscast in there, both of them. So is there any truth to that, or were they actually cast where they wanted, where you wanted?
It was not misclicked by me. I got really delayed in my rush because Mr. Forest Fire my wood. So I had like 7 or 8 villager with less of 8 minutes in the game trying to outspend with talk shots in that time, and that delayed me a lot. And he even sent some of Valkyr, and he killed me like 6 villagers or 5 villagers. I don't remember exactly. That delayed me a lot. Plus, T2 defend really well that rush because Magic doesn't really used to play Greeks, but he still made a good job. But um, Earth raided my food very early. It was some mix of bad timings and some very misplay by us because we were very, I don't know, defensive in that time, and then we attack in the wrong times. I think the timings were not that good. And plus Sensei, I really don't know what the fuck happened in, back in there because he seems to be playing very well, and suddenly he had nothing because you need to cast flame weapons to win your opponent, of course, but against another Norse, you have to be really aggressive against an Odin or a Thor. Otherwise, he's gonna come back with the Ragnarok power, and it was exactly what happened. Mister was free way to win with Ragnarok with 3,000 centers. I even tried to raid him in his back goat, but it was not enough, and he was already going rag, and he just won Sensei. I still don't think he was just saying to us that our strategy was not the best, but I don't think it was the strategy. I think the last game it was because um, Earth and Mista went really early in Mythic Age, but our rush was not really well. Our timings, my communication with Magic was some lack of really good timings, and Mista just destroyed Sensei out of the blue, so I didn't really get what happened over there. He was doing really well, and I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Mister.
I will tell you what happened. I told him a bedtime story and hammered him.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is that he was doing some good job, and we didn't ask him to come help us. We were okay fighting T2 and then Earth, but he just disappeared off Mister's base because I think he got afraid because he had 2 TCs and he went skady. I don't know why, but I still think he could have pushed a lot better and a lot harder in Sensei. Of course, and I'm sorry, he missed us. And T2, of course, like always, he does his perfect Uranus. So he defended very well, and Earth just went mythic. I think if Sensei had pushed it a lot better, I think we could have a chance. But the game was all about bad timings. I just saw the game after what we lost, and it was exactly what happened in my opinion. Of course, because plus with the very good performance by JSS.
Well, I think that Temista actually had something to ask you, so if he's still on, he gets the chance right about now.
Yeah, go ahead, Temista.
What? I don't remember wanting to ask something. Did I?
Okay.
But I do, if I may.
Yeah, of course.
Matteo, why did you go for those Greek gods, and why the hell did Sensei play Loki? His Uranus is fine. Uranus isn't that hard, so why would he change to Loki when he can play Uranus?
I can answer that because he's afraid of my Odin. if he hears Mr. Odin or Mr.'s playstyle as Odin, he pisses on his pants.
Mr. is always funny, and especially what it comes about to Sensei. I'm going to answer your account. It was because we were playing last days, and Sensei just go random god, and he just got Loki, and he actually won 3 or 4 games going really well with Loki, abusing of those wolves. So he tried to do the same thing. If you can see, he went mythic very quickly. But
Yes,
and we had a 5th game, and he just changed to Uranus, and he was smashed by another Loki. So he tried to abuse that. We were expecting that he was going to face T2 against, because it was to be Loki against an Uranus, and we could have been a lot better if it was Mista or Earth in our fronts. I mean, mimes and magic. So we could have double Athena in some Norse to counter the gods, because it was their map, of course. And he tried to do this because Uranus is not that good in this map compared to a Norse.
yep. But you know what? When you create a style, there is always a counter style. I knew he would go
Exactly.
wolf. I knew he would go wolf before the game, even the game started. We were discussing it, and I told him I will hammer him. I will hammer this guy. He wasn't
Yeah.
aggressive
We,
at all. Like he gave away everything. He basically told me, "Look, I'm gonna make 8 Hersiers, and then I'm gonna go for wolves. Okay, so just take a second to see and make villagers and rag the shit out of me." And that's what I
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. But this is exactly what I was telling to my friend God Lion. He just had a really, I don't know, weird game, or bad luck to face you, and he didn't cast flaming weapons. I still don't know why he did not push in heroic. I think
He
he
didn't get.
focused too much in trying to go for the wolves, and he just forgot to do the standard thing. Think with
I
me. If he had attacked you, he had a little bit, I don't know, delayed Earth or raiding T2, but he just got killed by you.
He tried to put pressure, but I had full Hersier and Axon army. You can't really
Yeah,
put pressure on that. So I guess he wanted to cast tier really fast and then make an army, but
yeah,
by the time
yeah,
the tier ended, I just had Ragnarok, and then flaming weapons get countered by Frost really badly.
yeah, yeah.
I
Like I
also
said, it was all about bad timings and better strategy by you guys. I'm not saying that you guys played bad. Of course not. You guys won, and you guys not only won my team, but you guys just played really good. But I think the main reason it's because your strategies were better. Like Magic said at the end, I think it was a mix of your strategy is getting better and our time is getting worse than yours.
Well, that's what team games are actually all about. It's not really about the individual performances, but if you have a better plan, well, it's of course gonna
Yes.
come up stronger than the individual skill. Just exactly shown in here. So I guess since I've asked all the others what was the favorite game in here, so even though it's going to be, I guess, kind of weird for you, Metallo, what was kind of the favorite game of the finals for you? Or if there was some moment that you actually liked in there?
I'm sorry. You're asking for my favorite moment in
Yeah,
the series.
exactly.
I think the most exciting moment it was when I just go in Anatolia game in that middle, and I just destroyed Count's main TC. No, I'm sorry, main TC and his forward TC, and I dragged all attention of him, Mister, and T2 to me. So T2 sent a Titan to defeat my forward base. Count just get back to his main base to try to defend that. And Mister, after all those fights, he just came with those Myrmidons and Lepolis and Colossi, and he destroyed everything. I think my specific favorite moment it was when that thing happened. I tried to do something, and everyone went there and kicked me off there.
All right. Well, that was Yeah, definitely a pretty nice highlight for you because you were doing a pretty good job in the second game.
Yeah.
So that was
Not only because I made that. I'm not trying to grab of something. I'm just saying first game it was just what I said, and second game that moment was really funny and the crucial moment. If I had some help in that time, I think we could have a bigger chance to win. And it was, in my opinion, the most exciting game, the second game.
Yeah, it definitely
And
was
this moment,
because you were fighting
yes,
for the most of the game right next to actually JSS trade route. So you were like literally
exactly,
centimeters away from killing them altogether because without trade they were basically
exactly,
gone since they didn't have the
exactly.
middle. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty nice in there. So I guess if you have something else to talk about, any of the four players that are actually speaking today, which is Count, Titu, Temista, and Metalo, I guess you might be just calling it a day then.
Well, then I have one more question for Metano.
All right,
What
go ahead.
are you guys going to do next season so you can beat us? What is gonna be your strategy, your training plan, your whatever? What are you gonna do to be more competitive?
I don't know. I when is the next season is gonna start? Blackadder.
It's going to be currently it's planned. There's going to be a few months of a break. So there's going to be coming up a big team tournament hosted by RTS Sanctuary. Should be starting in a few weeks. So definitely prepare for more team games. And everybody who listens in here, there's going to be more
I see.
details pretty soon. And it's going to be having a pretty hefty prize money. So yeah, that's that. That's
Okay,
that.
I think until there, I'm gonna try to teach Sensei to not die so easily to Mister.
That ain't gonna happen though. That ain't gonna happen.
It is because he's the master Sensei, like he always
Yeah,
says.
yeah, but master's balls are in my hands, and
Yeah,
I squeeze them
but
a bit, and then he goes to sleep.
yeah, exactly. But seriously, I think we are gonna try to play. I'm not saying it was his fault or Green Sea Squash fault, but Magic and Green Sea Squash didn't really play all the season with us. So I think answering your question in a serious way, I think we are gonna try to play more games with them, with Green Sea Squash and with Magic and with Sensei, because of course the other Magic is incredibly better than me. I'm not saying everything matters, but one versus one skill is a basic thing in team games. But team games, you really need to think for six. You have to think for yourself, and for the other five are gonna do in the whole game. So I think they need to play more team games. Green Sea Squash, he plays always with us. He has been playing with us for some months, but Magic didn't really play it, so doesn't Sensei. And I think they need to play more with us. And I think we can be much more accurate in our timings. You know, we need synchrony. We need to be a lot more. I
On the
don't
same
know.
page.
Yes, exactly. I was not gonna say exactly this word, but it's exactly what you were just said. And they're not bad team game players, but I still think me and Good Lion, we played really well together because we know exactly what he is good at and what I am good at, and we just rely on each other's actions. You know what I mean? And I still think we can do a much better job than we did in these finals, just because we need to train a lot more together.
Small tip: stop trying to get so many TCs as a team. You guys want you want the game to go late game, right?
No, not always.
You always want the game to go late game, because if you didn't, you would commit into actions. You don't commit. You like late game, don't you?
Do like, but I'm not saying that I always search for that. I just lately I have been looking in some very particular things. Everything, everyone thinks that team game is about doubling someone. It is not about doubling someone.
It's about tripling someone.
No, it's about you get some real advantage about two players, not about just one.
It's about combining. Like it's
Exactly
not
what I
about
was going
doubling.
to say.
It's like if you
You
manage to
need to
work with
combine
one.
your actions with your partner and drag the attention of two guys while the other one is holding, and you have to make a slight difference when anyone is expecting. So usually we can make that in the late game, but people need to understand that we can still make that in the early game.
Yeah,
So
but
I think it's the challenge.
how many times did you go? Did you guys go for an early win in RTSL?
I guess just against weaker teams, but everyone, almost all games. I think Blackadder just commented about something. Almost every game of RTSL are going to late game, right? It's
Not
not
really.
all.
Not
It's
really.
not. Yeah, they are.
Late
Against
game
TSM, LAD team, they all focusing going late game or doing late game strategies like
Yeah,
uh,
but most games we played are all decided in like 8 minutes, and maybe they take longer to express. But at let's take for example the last game. It was a 15 minutes games, and it was finished by Ragnarok. But the game was decided at the very moment you guys use your restoration. At that point, it was over. So maybe games get late game because you're at free and you can easily defend at free, but it's mostly decided. At least most of the games we played are decided at like 8 or 7 minutes.
yeah, you guys, of course, but I'm saying about all community, and I'm not saying about only the RTSL or this series. I'm saying about every team game lately that I'm playing and I am observing in the Vobly lobby. Guys are always trying to go late game. So my team, they need to focus in more in attacking like you guys did, so we can finish games early. I think TSM with Player, Fan, and Atlantis, they were one of the best teams that they could do in some early game because Player is an awesome player in everything that he does, and he attacks really good with Athena or going Centaurs and Hipcons. Fan does the same thing with a little less of expertise of that players does. And Atlantis is a very aggressive and good arena. So this is an example to me that a team can do really aggressive and always decides. But I agree with you guys. Your games, particularly your games, are very decided before that.
Prima, la kami tu din. Sorry for that, guys.
Well, there's actually a question from the chat for you, Metalo, and that's if you actually KeeNs used microphones in team communication in your games, or if you're just going through chat or something.
No. Yeah, me and Gold Lion, we always play in Skype. We always play together in Skype, and me, Good Lion, and Skady. But Skady is not really playing lately, so it's a it's not all of we can do about that because Magic doesn't really go Skype or Senside is not really going and Greasy Squash even less.
Yeah, and what about actually JSS about this regard? Do you actually talk in chat?
Yeah, well, we kind of try to go in Skype all the time, but mostly we only go in Skype at finals. But the point is, beside me, Temista and Titu, Earth doesn't want to join Skype because all the time we are in Skype, we are really negative. We are always shouting at each other and saying, "Come on, let's help here! Come on, I want to be town center. Damn, I have so much food. Give me fucking food!" All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So Earth doesn't want to join us anymore because well, he doesn't feel comfortable, I guess. So it's like not very much fun to join us in Skype, but I think it's very good and very important that we use it because yeah, well, typing is just slow. It's just bad for your APM.
Yeah, I definitely would expect that actually at the later stages everyone would be talking with each other through Skype or some TeamSpeak or whatever. So that's a bit of a surprise that actually Magic doesn't want to do that. And well, yeah, it's also one of the parts that I think actually makes quite a lot of difference, because really, just as our count said, makes a lot of difference in the speed, and you don't have to concentrate on writing or anything. And that's especially important because you want to say something when you are engaged in some, I don't know, fight or whatever. So that's usually when you want to actually let your teammates know something, and that's of course a pretty big problem in there.
Yeah, I just want to say something. Um we were just talking about who was going to play in this finals and the rest of the series. I was not very active. I just got my vacation of the end of the year in the last 2 weeks, and I started to play and train for this finals, quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. But we were just asking, and I just say to Gold Lion and to Greasing Squash and Skady. I didn't really wanted to play because I was not really active. So, but I still think like Count was not playing, and he just showed up in this match. I was definitely not expecting that. So what I'm trying to say is I really like the RTSL happening because it brings much more activity and it brings something that we lost long time ago because everyone is moving to other games. So we just have 200 viewers. It was amazing. I just want to say that you have been doing a very good job, like either. I really love this game and I like it a lot. When I seen so much activity, bring back other players. I was not playing. Count were not was not playing. Mista was not playing after that 1 versus 1 tourney. So Magic was giving some break time, and I really like that RTSL keeps bringing back other players.
And that's definitely one of the features of RTS League, that it's really a lot about the prestige. It has become that in the last years. So there are always players that actually want to prove something, and then
Yeah.
the other players want to prove them wrong. So of course, it's going to be actually luring the other players as well in. So yeah, it's definitely nice to see, and I'm glad that you are actually having fun in RTS League, because that's the main reason why everybody's playing in here, and why we're even hosting it for the community.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we have probably talked about most of the things in the match. So I'm guessing final congratulations to JSS and kudos to KeeN for very nice performances all around the season, and making it into the finals was definitely a very good achievement through the very tough route that you actually had into there. And well, I guess.
Thank you. Yeah, I also want to thank you, Blackadder. Great organizing, hosting again, of course. And also, Titu, thank you for for getting us online, because Temista and I are just terrible at scheduling, and you just fixed everything.
Yes, especially Mister always sleeping.
Yeah, and sorry, KeeN,
Wake up, man.
for starting 10 minutes late, because Temista, of course, he was too late. That's not surprising.
Here, fuck you.
Yeah, was late again.
Was sleeping again, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to next season. So thank you.
That's pretty great to hear. And well, so that the praise isn't just targeted at me. Of course, it's RTS League is a teamwork. So without Corona JJ and Miraz lately, it wouldn't really be possible to make it just by myself. So they deserved a lot of praise as well. So yeah, just making sure that everybody understands that RTS League is not just me. And well, I guess that's about it then for today. So yep, thank a lot for actually joining me today for a bit of a talk and playing the very great games. And we had a pretty nice actually viewership. We had more than 200. The best that I have actually seen was like 220. So during game 2. So that was a pretty decent number, especially for recent years. And it was very close to the best that we actually had some seasons ago from the finals. So that's pretty good to see. There are a lot of people still interested in competitive Age of Mythology. So yes, thank you everyone, also the viewers, for watching, and I hope you enjoy the games. And definitely have seen in the chat that you did. And well, I've been Blackadder at the RTS channel, and see you later.
Uh,